What are the three most ignored aspects of personal defense? I'll give you my thoughts in this episode of Tactical Tidbits. Hi guys, Herman from Alpha One Tactical here. Today I wanted to talk about three different aspects of personal defense that you probably don't consider part of personal defense, but I think they should be. And I think that these are areas that we don't really put too much focus on, or at least enough focus on, in my opinion, especially in the personal defense, combatives, and firearms communities. And I think it's important that we start prioritizing them as well. And I'll start by quoting Tony Blauer in many interviews and in personal conversations with him. He's always said, everything we do is self-defense. And initially I was like, wait, what does he mean by that? And he gives the examples, right? When we look both ways before crossing the street, we're trying not to get hit by a truck and getting killed, right? Well, that's personal defense, right? We're trying to extend our lives. And anything as menial as even just brushing your teeth, you're trying to keep your teeth so that you can keep them around longer, so that you can have a better quality of life. You can be able to eat and have an easier time eating and longer into your old age. So everything we do, all of our decisions in one way or another, we're doing them thinking that this is going to be better for us in the long term. So all of this extends to in a lot of different ways, and I think that there are three categories that up until now most people don't consider part of personal defense, and they're examples like the one that I just gave. So the first one that I'll start with is health and fitness in general, right? So when I ask people when they come into a class, a firearms class or a self-defense class, and I say, why are you here? What are you interested in, or what's your motivation? Most people say, well, I want to be able to come home every night to my family. I want to be around for the people that love me, the people that depend on me. And that's great. That is exactly the motivation, the initiative, and the mindset that we want people to have when they're going to be training in these type of things. So when I hear that, and especially when I hear that coming from people that might be obese, in some cases morbidly obese, or they don't put any emphasis on their fitness. So even if they had to go and help someone that was in need, they had to run a mile to go rescue someone that they cared about, and they wouldn't be able to do it without dropping dead, then I scratch my head and I say, well, is it really your priority? Or maybe you're just someone that's into guns and you want to shoot, or you think that that's the only thing that you need to learn is how to be a good shot, and then that's going to solve all your problems when it comes to personal safety. No, absolutely not. So we really need to focus and prioritize health and fitness to be the better, bigger, or not necessarily bigger, a stronger, fitter version of ourselves, so that we can extend that our lifespans, right? So we can be around longer for the people that we love, for the people that love us, for the people that depend on us, right? So again, that doesn't mean that we have to become world-class athletes and that should be our number one goal completely. It's just, no, let's just build that into our everyday lives, in just moving more, in being better about our diets, that kind of thing. The second one is kind of like, by extension, same thing, right? If we want to be around longer, we want to make sure that we're there for the people that depend on us, all that kind of stuff, then also by extension, that means that we should have our finances in order. And really shocks me just how many people don't have a plan in place financially to what would happen if they were to lose their jobs. That people are in debt, that people don't have cushion in the event that someone in the family lost their job and they didn't have the same sources of income. If there was a downturn in the economy or whatever it might be, that they don't have all of these things figured out ahead of time. Okay, so again, I'm not an expert in this either, but it's important, and you don't have to be an expert in this, and you don't have to take drastic steps. So start small, keep it simple. start socking away some money, 10, 20% of what you bring in. Start building that cushion. Start looking into things like life insurance policies and things of that nature that will protect you or protect your loved ones in the event that something were to happen to you or someone else in the family that is a provider. And then the third and last topic that I think is also kind of a blind spot that should also be considered part of personal defense, and it's probably a little bit more obvious, and I think more people do definitely think about this stuff, is in overall just preparedness. And so I'm not necessarily talking about being, full on prepper, but just having a preparedness mindset. And the number one thing that I like to focus on, again, without going way overboard and stuff, and starting to build a concrete bunker under your house or going too crazy here, just start focusing on what is most probable. Not that everything's possible, but not everything is probable. So in my mind, what's most probable in terms of preparedness, emergency preparedness, is going to be something like a natural disaster, right? As I'm recording this, just a few weeks ago, we had a lot of issues with weather in the Northeast. We had some issues with flooding in California. There were a lot of lives lost because people were not prepared. People literally freezing to death in their cars because they were trying to get out of somewhere or go somewhere, or were not able to get help in time. A lot of tragic stories of things that could have been avoided if people knew what to do in these situations or had the proper equipment or the proper preparedness before tragedy struck. All right, so think of what is most probable to happen in where you live, based on geography and weather and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, usually that's going to be around weather or any other type of natural disaster. Might be earthquakes in the West Coast, whatever it might be. Start focusing on that. Start putting together at least 2 weeks worth of supplies, water and food and any other supplies, and then work your way up from there. So again, those 3 things I think should be considered part of personal defense, personal safety. So start thinking about that. Don't just think that everything is about combatives and firearms and that kind of stuff. All those other 3 topics should be considered part of your overall plan, comprehensive plan, to be a safer, more prepared individual, so we can be around longer. All right. Hope that helps. Let me know your thoughts. See you on the next episode.